The Cape Ann Kids Holiday Fund began out of a need to change things this year because we are not able to do things the same way. Where usually all three agencies, Wellspring, Action Inc., and Pathways, and correct me if they're wrong, but usually we have parents and families come in and select their toys for their children. And this year we knew we weren't going to be able to have, 300 families, 500 families come through and touch toys. So I think, we were all kind of thinking the same thing. Each agency, we have to do this a different way. What's the smartest, most cohesive, most helpful way to do that? And so we came together and started the Cape Ann Kids Holiday Fund, which is capeannkids.org, capeannkids.org. And we have a goal of collecting $100,000 by December 1st so that we can get as many gift cards to families on Cape Ann as we can. We know it's been a really difficult year for everyone. And when you're worried about being able to afford things, it becomes that much harder. So.
And Lisa, I want to ask, so do we know the progress of the fund to this point, and then how people can help out, and what specifically you're asking for folks?
Yes, so we currently have about $30,000 either in the fund or committed towards the fund. The goal again is 100,000, and we based that on estimating 1,000 kids in need this year at $100 per gift card. And again, the reason that we're raising a fund is we'd like to provide the parents with gift cards so they can buy that special present for their child. We're doing it early so that they can shop, take advantage of maybe some shipping or some sales. And we have a lot of promotions going out soon. So hopefully we'll reach our goal by the end of November, and then we'll be distributing the gift cards to parents the first weekend in December.
So what is hard for some people is it's such a wonderful experience to go out and select gifts that they know would be, well received by kids. And there's so much joy that people have in doing that. So that is a big change. And we've had the support of so many individuals and companies and other schools in the area to provide those gifts each and every year. So it is a big shift to be asking people to give money instead. But again, circumstances are so varying now. We don't necessarily know what it will be like in 1 month. And so to have assumed that we could open our doors and welcome these families in to come to our space and gather that large group of people over the course of a weekend just wasn't manageable. So we've had to make the shift. And again, we anticipate the need this year will be greater than it has in the past. So coming together to form this one fund seems like really the best way to serve the increased needs of the community this year.
I think from a Pathways perspective as well, that when we all met together in September, we all were talking about how we're going to support our families in different ways, and kind of coming to the realization that because of COVID, we're only enrolled at about a third of our normal enrollment. So we typically service all of our families, and realizing that the families that we couldn't re-enroll would then be flooding the other two stores or funds. So it just really made sense for us to all kind of come together and make sure that we could, make sure every kid got equitably the same amount in Cape Ann.
The flexibility here and the innovation is really admirable.
Meg, I want to ask, so you said up to this point, all of your drives of previous holiday seasons served 300 to 500 families or so. Because of the circumstances this year, do you have any projection of how many families you'll actually be helping out this time around, or hoping to help out?
We're looking at usually we're between 600 and 800 children, individual children. And this year we're projecting we'll probably be close to 1,000. So that's why we've tried to set, a goal of $100,000 so that we can, meet that need. We know people will be missing that normalcy that happens around the holidays, especially like, Katie touched on the donors and all of our community organizations, all of the partners that we work with have been so incredibly generous over, the years to all of our agencies, and we just hope that that can kind of translate into this for this year.
We've done our holiday store for like 24 years, and the way it sort of came about was that we did find that during the holiday season, like shortly thereafter in January or February, families were starting to miss payments on, their rent was late or some of those kinds of bills because, there's people really want to make that holiday special for their kids, and they'll kind of go that extra mile or stretch themselves a little bit too thin to do that. So that's why we created our holiday store. That's why we created that holiday support, to create sort of a safety net that come January, families were still able to stay afloat and they weren't, stretching themselves too thin in order to make those necessary payments.
Right. We see it as an initiative as part of our homelessness prevention outreach and programs. So it's helping families maintain kind of the normal finances during a time where they might get behind in bills. And I think it's something that, we've talked about. We all have our store and it's special, and volunteers come in and families come in. And, we're all disappointed that it has to be a little different this year. But I think we've been kind of wanting to collaborate on something anyway. We're 3 organizations that do very similar things and very different things for families on Cape Ann. And this is something that we have in common that was easy to collaborate on. So, I think there'll be more collaboration between the 3 organizations in the future too.
So, opens up all these doors,
Right.
Right.
We're going to have to get creative over the next, year or so.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be tough though for you guys to not see the families come in and all that. First of all the donations of the gifts is just so sort of joyous. And then to see the parents come in and do their shopping was always a nice tradition, right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think we're all adjusting to that. The thought of how different things will be this year without, gathering and celebrating and these kinds of things. There's a huge, mental health aspect to this too. When there's not COVID-19 happening, the stress, the stressors around the holidays and, the want and the need to be able to provide, and make your child feel loved, for parents, that's a big deal.
The deadline is December 1st. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we can catch up in a couple of weeks and see how the fund is going and and give a little bit more encouragement.
That'd be great.
So the idea is we want people to go to capeannkids.org, right? And talk me through the process.
Yeah. Once you get to capeannkids.org, there's a button right there that says donate. There's also an opportunity to apply. So that if you're struggling and you're not sure how you're going to be able to afford things this year, we've seen a lot of people have, paying rent issues like Lisa mentioned, those kinds of things this year. So, if you want to apply, there's also the option to do that on the page as well.
Well, we look forward to hearing how it's going, and we really encourage everyone to donate because this is such an important part of the community. Everything you guys do, but this time of year is just really special.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to say cheers to Lisa and Katie from Wellspring, Jade from Pathways for Children, and Meg from Action Inc. Awesome work that the 3 nonprofits in this community are doing for everyone in the community at large. And we will be in touch.
Great. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank
Corey.
you.
Bye.